Hello, and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing our new die, Valentine Hearts Border. This die is absolutely adorable, so let's go ahead and check it out. This die has two pieces that can be used together or separately, and here you'll see how you can layer them together. So you can take this frame piece and layer it on top of the base, and then you'll have different colors of hearts peeking through, and I just think it is absolutely adorable. Of course, this is perfect for Valentine's Day, but it's perfect for year-round, any kind of love card, and Shari is going to be showing us 3 different super clever and super adorable ways to use this die. So take it away, Shari.
So my images for this card are these 2 little skunks from Scent with Love. So I've already colored and cut them out, and I will just set them aside. For the card base itself, I'm using the largest mini slimline stackable out of Spiffy Speckles, and I'm also using the new Valentine Hearts Border. So I've cut the solid hearts from Guava, and I've cut the outline and stitched hearts from some Ballet Slipper, and I will layer these 2 together. I also have the giant XOXO cut from some peacock cardstock, and that is going to be the sentiment on my card. So I have that largest mini slimline stitch rectangle out of Spiffy Speckles, and I've layered that onto my mini slimline card base. That's 3 inches by 6 inches. Then I have 2 of the Valentine Hearts borders, and I've just added some liquid glue to the back of the lighter pink, that Ballet Slippers, and I'll just layer that over top of the guava. So I've done the same to both of these borders. I'm going to put one at the top, which it fits this 6 inches of mini slimline just perfectly. And then I'm also going to put one at the bottom. So I'm just scribbling a bunch of liquid glue all over that border, and then I'll just layer that towards the bottom. After those are in place, I can add my sentiment with that giant XO, and I'm putting some foam tape over the back so it can pop up off that background a little bit and have some dimension. So I'll just center that up in the center of the card, make sure I have room for my little skunks there. Once I have that in place, I can add some foam to the back of my little skunks as well and put one on each side of the sentiment. I think this is kind of fun. It's almost like they're running towards each other. They're going to give each other a hug, but we have this nice big sentiment in the middle. So they kind of look like they might be holding it as well. And then finally, I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to the edges of the sentiment. Instead of fully covering it, I'm kind of making it almost like this is a drop shadow, which is just another fun way to add some sparkle to your card. And then here is that finished card with those cute skunks, that really big fun die cut sentiment, and I also really love the heart border. I love it even when they're not layered together. It's just so much fun. For my card today, I'm making a mini slimline portrait-oriented card. I'm using the new Valentine Hearts Border die, and I've cut these pieces from Rainbow of Cardstock. I've cut these solid hearts as well as the outline and stitched hearts, both from the same color, and I'm going to layer those together so you get a tone-on-tone look. I'm starting out with peacock cardstock here for that teal color. I also have Cilantro for the green, fake tan for the orange, sunflower for the yellow, and then guava for the pink color. So now that I have all those glued together, I have the largest of the large mini slimline stackables. I've cut a piece of speckled eggshell cardstock. That's going to be the front of my card. And I'm just kind of placing these heart borders where I think I want them. So I'm starting out with the guava at the top, and then I will go ahead and glue on the fake tan. And of course, these are going to get trimmed off the sides once I've got them all on there. But before I glue down the others, I'm going to go ahead and put my sentiment in here. So I'm stamping the sentiment, sending hugs, and I wanted to stamp that on the same angle that my heart borders are glued on. So I've placed that in my MISTI. I'm going to pick up those stamps, and I'm just going to stamp those in some black ink. Now that that is stamped on there, I know where I can put my next row of hearts. I wanted to make sure that that was already stamped so I had enough space in between my rows. And then I'll just keep working my way down with the green and then the teal. And now I can go in with my scissors and trim off all that extra that is hanging off the sides. And then finally I can just add this to a card base now that that is all assembled. This card base is 3 inches by 6 inches. And then to finish it off, I'm going to add some little die cut hearts. So I'm using the skinny tag with hearts and stars. There are 3 sizes of hearts in that die set, and I'm going to cut some black hearts. So this is going to match the black of the sentiment and really stand out against those other colors that I've put on here. And I've just scattered them around just like little embellishments. I'm just picking them up with the end of my finger and putting a little dot of glue and dropping them back down. And then finally I added a little bit of glitter to each of those hearts so they look like shimmery embellishments. And then this is my finished mini slimline card with that rainbow heart border, which I just think is so much fun. So for my card today, I'm going to make a background using the Valentine Hearts Border. You can see I've cut a whole bunch of these out of some Guava Cardstock, and I'm going to be layering them on this stitch rectangle also cut from Guava Cardstock. So we're going to get this really cool tone-on-tone textured background using these borders. So I'm going to start in the center with my first one. That way I can have some fairly even spacing from the top to the bottom. And I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue to adhere each of these so I can kind of shift them around as I need. Now I am going to shift each one a little bit so they're not going to line up exactly one on top of the other. You can see that outline heart or that stitch heart. I'm going to shift it to the right or the left so that it's kind of back and forth and they kind of nest together. And it's not quite so regular going down the page. Kind of like polka dots when they're nested inside each other because they're shifted left or right. So I'm just working my way down from that center where I started. And then also working my way up. I'm kind of using my grid mat as a go-by. You can fit one of these in about a 1/2 inch square, but they are going to get a little bit off as I get towards the top just because I'm giving myself a little bit of space between the hearts. I'm not stacking them right against each other so they're not touching. Now that I've got all of that glued down, I've made sure I've given it a minute to dry, I'm going to take my scissors and trim off right along the edge of that rectangle all those heart borders that overhang. So I'm going to do the 2 sides first where I've got the most overhanging, but I do have a little bit on the top and bottom, and I'm just going to trim off those little bumps of the hearts that are overhanging as well. So now you can see we have this really fun tone-on-tone textured die cut background. I think this is a really fun technique to do with border dies. I've also cut a scalloped rectangle from some Ballet Slipper cardstock, and I'm going to layer that behind this panel that I created with the die cuts. That's going to frame it up nicely with that lighter pink. For the sentiment, I'm going to use a mixture of die cuts. I've got the Scripty hugs cut from some black cardstock, and then I've also cut out the letters to spell big using Oliver's ABCs. I like mixing my fonts like this, especially using these bold die cut words and letters. And then I'm just going to glue these right onto that background that I created. Liquid glue is a great use for this because that background has all kinds of texture because we have layered die cuts on top of the cardstock, so that liquid glue is going to get in all those nooks and crannies and make sure that these die cuts stay right in place. Now I've put some foam adhesive all over the back of this panel, and I'm putting it onto a card base that's made from some mermaid cardstock. And then finally, I'm going to add my little skunk. So this is the little skunk from Scent with Love, the one that's facing straight forward. To me, he looks like he's ready to give you a big hug, so I thought he worked perfectly with this sentiment. And this could be a great card just to encourage somebody or brighten their day. It doesn't have to be Valentine. You could definitely change up the colors. Now to finish it off and give it some sparkle, I'm using some glitter glue. This is diamond stickles, so it has a little bit more iridescent shimmer in it, and it gives that Scripty hugs a different look. And then I'm just adding some dots of it around on the background. And then here is that finished card. I've loved that bit of shimmer that's added, but I really love the detail in that die cut tone-on-tone background I created.
Oh my goodness, I love all of these cards, Shari, and I love that you use this die in 3 different ways. And I love this textured tone-on-tone background here, this fun rainbow design where you layered the same color of cardstock with the 2 pieces of the die cut set, and then this card here in the way that it highlights your whole sentiment and scene, and also uses contrasting colors for the base and the frame. And next up, we have some gorgeous cards by the design team, and this card by Grace, oh my goodness, I love how she has each of the hearts a different color of the rainbow, and that ink blended background is just gorgeous. This card by Elise is so much fun. I love how she has them on a diagonal and has that fun sentiment right in the center, adorable and sweet. Audrey used the hearts to create a break between her pattern on her card and her sentiment and scene, and this is such a cute idea, and I can't wait to try it on lots of different cards. Here I love how Letitia used both the Valentine Hearts border but also used the Lots of Hearts stencil to create a Lots of Hearts Valentine card that's just so much fun. Love how Mindy cut this die out of some sparkle cardstock. It's so beautiful, and her custom sentiment using Kohl's ABCs is just perfect. And then this card here is so adorable. Once again, Kara has used that Valentine heart border as a break between her background and her sentiment, and I think it looks incredible. So we can't wait to see how you guys use this die, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!